Hi, welcome back, and if you're new here, my name is Phil. I'm the Ordinary Watch Guy. I'm very ordinary, but the watches are always special. Now, this week I've been really pondering upon what I wanted to put out for you today, and I've been noticing that a number of content makers in the watch space have been maybe having the same sort of thoughts. It's like a joint existential crisis in the watch environment. But let me point you to my friend Watch Yourself George, and he's put out two videos recently that I thought were absolutely brilliant. The first video is about the crazy nature of making watch content and some of the dilemmas and the ethics and everything else that goes into that. And then, as if to prove his point, which is always delivered with the utmost integrity, he made his review of a Bell & Ross watch, which I think is so entertaining, and no spoilers. It's a real teardown of this particular watch, but I think it was delivered in such an enjoyable way that probably Bell & Ross enjoyed it, actually. But anyway, I was going to do a more contemplative video today, but then I got over myself and I thought, I want to talk about classic looking chronographs. I don't think that you need my innermost thoughts on the watch space. Let's look at Chronos. I just love them, and I think actually the classic chrono look is going to ride back in on the back of this dress watch craze that is hitting at the moment, and you know, threatens to envelop all of us. They've got that really stylish old school quality that I just think is just so cool. And so I'm going to save you from my inner contemplations on the watch space, because I think there's a number of commentators that are doing that better than me. Watch Yourself George definitely being one of them. And at least for the time being, we're just going to get into it, looking at some of my favourite classic chronos that are out there right now. And I'm going to try and whiz through a pack of 10 watches in this video. And I want you to tell me in the comments what your favourite actually is. Let's get started. And I'm going to begin with probably the most expensive watch on this list. The most expensive watch on this list is coming in from Chopard. It's the Mille Classic Chronograph. And I think I've really, really fallen in love with this olive green dial and the classic looks that it's bringing, combined with the brown leather rally strap. 12.88 millimeters of case thickness is really very slender for a chrono. It's got the vintage style pump pushers, and it's an ornate thing of beauty. But at £8,420 msrp, and the best that I've seen is about £7,000 if I imported one, this is a fantasy watch for me, I'm afraid. Surprisingly, the best deals that I've seen on this watch are actually coming in from Germany and the United States right now. So, you know, at one point in time, it was just automatic, go to Japan and look at what the deals were over there. Maybe that's starting to shift just a little bit. Longines Spirit Flyback Chronograph. Okay, this has become the chrono by which I measure the outer limits of thickness. 17 millimeters of thickness make it easily the biggest chunk of watch that I've got on this list. 42 millimeters across the dial. Wearable to me, but the depth on the case is frankly a bit prohibitive. It's a beautiful watch though. I've heard people decry the 5 stars across the dial because it looks like it's carrying its own Amazon review, but Longines are the flyback chronograph inventors, and perhaps this is the pilot's watch in the list. But 17 millimeters of thickness though, damn. The Hamilton American Classic Intramatic Auto Chrono. Bit of a mouthful, And I've talked about this Hamilton before, and I think somebody told me it was a hockey puck. basically in the comments. The trouble with Chronos is that they do get thick, and at 14.45 millimeters, this is another one that's certainly got some wrist presence. But with the classic looks on offer, this is another very stylish watch. This bad boy's got 60 hours of power reserve to throw into the offer with the H31 caliber movement that's based on the well-known, well-loved Valjoux 7753 movement. And at this price, we're definitely not on Amazon anymore, but it's probably accessible to plenty of people. Again, offering more options on leather rather than a bracelet, which is definitely a classic motif, but it does look pretty good on a Milanese. Now, just avoid the gold black variant that looks like it got thrown up on by a porn star / rapper. Awful. Let me just break up the video for a moment to ask you to like and subscribe if you've got this far. It means a huge amount to me, and it's the best way to help me to grow the channel. So I know that most of the people watching my videos still aren't subscribed. Please click that subscribe button. Omega Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch.
It will be mine. Oh yes, it will be mine.
Okay, has to be on this list. Whether you get it on the Hisui or whether you get it on the Sapphire Sandwich, this is a classic to which all classics must measure themselves. It's the Rosetta Stone of Flyback chronographs. It's the one, the only, the first watch on the moon, and the watch that no matter what, the Rolex Daytona will never become. You can walk in off the street and buy one, secure yourself a 10% discount, and leave with it on your wrist in a single visit. One of the greatest watches of all time, and absolutely no waiting list, no AD games, no getting treated like shit by the sales rep. Likewise, this masterful piece of engineering is readily available on the secondary market. You can get one without box and papers in pretty rough condition, but very serviceable, for less than £3,000. It reminds me of the classic vintage Singer sewing machines. They got it right, and you can still buy a working hand crank model for £60. Remember though, it's a self-wind watch, and some people don't like that. Personally, wouldn't bother me. This is one watch that I absolutely know for a fact that I am going to add to my collection. Breitling Top Time B01 Triumph. Okay, the second most expensive watch on this list is the Breitling, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, Breitling are just doing an outstanding job on their dials. This is spectacular in the hand. 13.3 millimeters of thickness, 41 millimeter diameter on the case, makes it very wearable. 70 hours of power reserve too. Does it merit £6,450 MSRP to you though? Muhle Glashutte Teutonia 2 Chronograph. I'm as excited as hell because it's March, and this month I'm planning to go to Glashutte in Germany. I've got two picks from there, and my first is this gorgeous piece from Muhle Glashutte. It's the Teutonia 2. I'm going to try this on when I get over there, but at 42 millimeters in diameter and 15.5 millimeters thick, it's a big watch on the wrist. It's not Longines Spirit Flyback Chronograph big, but as beautiful as this is, 15.5 millimeters might be too big for me. There's no question that this dial with the guilloche detail is absolutely gorgeous though, and it has a genuinely in-house movement, the MU943, with 48 hours of power reserve. The second Glashutte piece that I've opted for is from Union Glashutte, and one of my favourite brands, to be honest. The Noramis is €3,350, which comes in at about 2,800. 42mm case, classic looks, pump style pushers, display case back, in-house caliber, 60 hours of power reserve, and a little bit more acceptable at 14.5mm in thickness. Wonderful watch. Moving on, we've got the Sea-Gull 1963 Pilot Chronograph Reissue. It's very rare that I look at a watch that's actually available on Amazon, but at £149.99, this is a mechanical chronograph with pedigree, and it's selling for classic G-Shock money. It's a great looking manual wind 37.4mm dial watch with 18mm between the lugs, and I think that this makes it a watch that's accessible to most wrist sizes. At 15mm case thickness, it is a bit of a chunk, no doubt about that, but am I tempted? Yeah, I actually really am. Chrono Tokyo Chronograph 3 Hisui. Now, the ultra fashionable and super cool Kurono. I loved this watch the first time I laid my eyes on it. The jade colours in the dial, the Japanese style, the funky hands that are bent by hand, by the way, the Art Deco influences, Guilloche subdials too, 38mm is super accessible to every wrist, and 13.5mm of thickness. You'll pick one up with box and papers in the UK for about £2,800. Now I'm going to pivot to a micro brand actually, and the Geckota Classic Chronograph is great, and I'm looking particularly at the Spanish pink dial, but there's a range of other colours there, and they all look outstanding. 41.5mm diameter, 12.35mm of thickness, and the lug-to-lug of 47.8mm, sapphire crystal, display case back, pump style pushers. It arrives on leather, but I think it'd look great on a bracelet too. You know, perhaps the most fantastic thing is you don't have to wear a corduroy shirt to pull this off. As it goes, and for the price, less than £500, this looks like an absolute winner to me. So there we are, a range of classic chronographs to salivate over, suitable for all budgets, but which one's your favourite? Let me know in the comments below. Love to hear from you, and maybe you've got an option that you want to throw into the mix that I haven't thought of today. But let me know, put your comments down there, and as always, thank you for watching my content. Do give me a like if you've enjoyed this video. Your subscriptions are the very best way to show your appreciation and to stay in touch with what I'm doing. It means a lot to me, and I'd love to reach you with my next video. Coming up, I'm going to be doing a tour of Glashutte in Saxony, which is just a pilgrimage for any watch enthusiast, but I'll be bringing you with me, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as I do. Check out my previous videos. I'll be back soon with some more content for you to enjoy, so bye for now.